Namaste and welcome to Tridevi Chumandamandir in Denver, Colorado. I'm Yamajit and so glad that you could make it this evening. My original plans this evening were to have an outdoor fire puja. However, we've been having rain the last couple of hours and didn't necessarily want to risk my laptop and camera out there. So we're going to do kind of an abbreviated fire puja in the main temple sanctuary, and we're going to use a small charcoal fire. So thank you for bearing with me on this. And also, if you tried joining earlier, we were having some technical problems as well, but we're up and running. So again, namaste and welcome. So just a couple of announcements. This coming Tuesday at 7 o'clock will be the next installment of our Tuesday Satsangs. We'll be doing chapter 4 of the Kriya Yoga Upanishad and some related practices. And this is going to be a rather interesting one because this is going to be a chapter on subtle anatomy. So things like the chakras and the nadis. And then next Friday at 7, we'll be doing our monthly Kriya Yoga Puja and Satsang. And you're welcome to join us to either events, 7 o'clock, either live on YouTube, or you can come to our temple at 1260 South Xavier Street in Denver, Colorado. So tonight, this is the 10th installment of our Kali Nitya's Goddess series. And tonight we're going to be honoring the goddess Nila. And so if you take a look on my YouTube channel, you'll see a short PowerPoint video that is related to what I'm going to be sharing this evening. And so this evening I'm going to go through that presentation, some important information about this particular aspect of the Divine Mother, and then we'll go into our puja and our meditation. So the Kali Nityas, for those of you who may be joining us for the first time, are a collection of 15 goddesses who are different aspects of Ma Kali. And when you look at the PowerPoint presentation, you'll see this slide showing all 15, their names, and their relative orders. So they're associated with the 15 nights of the waning lunar cycles. So beginning with the night of the full moon, and then as the moon, the lighted part of the moon gets smaller and smaller up to the new moon. So the 10th of the Kali Nitya goddesses is the goddess Nila. And as the 10th goddess, she therefore represents the 10th night from the full moon. And her name can mean black, darkness, or blue. And we're really talking about is a very dark shade of blue, a very dark blue. So first thing I want to share about her is her yantra, or spiritual diagram. And we see a small triangle. In the center of that is a Sanskrit character for the Bij mantra or seed mantra sound Hum, which is a protective mantra. That is surrounded by a 6-pointed star or hexagram, and then 8 lotus petals, and then a 4-gated enclosure, which is called a bapura. So I want to explain the meaning behind that yantra, because every angle or triangle or lotus petals represents a different form of deity. So the triangle in the center, the triangle has three corners, and these represent three different, we might think of as sub-personalities of the Divine Mother, or different forms of the Divine Mother. So in that first triangle, the first corner represents the goddess Kalaratri, whose name means night of time. The second point is Maharatri, which means the great night. And then the third is Moharatri, the night of destruction. So these would be three different aspects of Nila's personality. So the night has strong associations with the unconscious. And in terms of night of destruction, it's really the destruction of these things in our lives that get in the way of us, these just maybe distract us from us realizing our true potential. So the hexagon, the six-pointed star, represents something called the six limbs. And these are different disciplines in Vedic scriptural study. Remember, the four Vedas are the oldest of the Hindu scriptures. There's four of them. And the six limbs are associated with different aspects of studying them. So they include phonetics, rhyme and meter, grammar, etymology, so where certain words came from, ritual instruction, and the last one, which doesn't seem to have come out, at least on my printout for the PowerPoint, is astrology. So kind of pay attention to the fact that there's six aspects of study associated with this goddess, because I'm going to be saying a little bit more about that later. So the 8 lotus petals, those represent the Ashtamatrika, the 8 little mother goddesses. And they include the goddess Brahmani, who's associated with Ma Sarasvati, the creator. Maheshwari, who's associated with Parvati. She's the Shakti of Lord Shiva. Kaumari, who is the daughter of Shiva and Parvati. And she's the wife of, actually I should say daughter-in-law. She's the wife of their son, warrior god Skanda. Vaishnavi, who's a form of Mahalakshmi. Vadahi, who is the Divine Mother in the form of a sow. Indrayani, who is the consort of Lord Indra, the Lord of Storms, and we certainly had some storms today. Ma Chamunda, Ma Kali herself, and finally Narashimi, who is the Divine Mother in the form of a lioness. And then in the Papura, and we can see it on the same design on this Kali Yantra on our high altar here, this 4-gated square enclosure. There are 8 directional deities that reside in that part of the diagram, and they are also known as the Lokapalas or Dikpalas. And so these would include Lord Indra, the god of storms in the east, Agni, the fire god in the southeast, Yama, the lord of death in the south, Niruti, who is a goddess associated with protection in difficult times in the southwest, Varuna, who is associated with the sky in the western direction, Vayu, the god of air and wind in the northwest, and Lord Kubera, the lord of wealth in the very north. Oh, and in the northeast, Ishana, who's a form of Lord Shiva in the northeast.
So these completely relate to Vastu principles.
Exactly. Very good. It's good insight on that, yeah.
I did learn one thing from Swami.
So her meditational visualization which we're going to be focusing on while I chant her mantra as part of our puja, is she is shown with 4 arms, 3 eyes, like blue orpiment, and by orpiment we mean blue mineral pigment. Maybe think of something like a ground lapis lazuli. She is seated upon a corpse. Her eyes are red and rolling, her tongue protruding. She wears ornaments of human flesh and bones. Her face is beautiful, and eyes, the hypnotic eyes like those of a gazelle. So that's her meditational visualization, what's called her dhyana. So to go into some of that symbolism, her blue sapphire skin, we have a number of different deities like Krishna and Kali and Rama with blue skins. That's associated with the destruction of evil. Her 3 eyes, consciousness not just in this realm, but beyond this realm. Being seated upon a corpse. This is actually a rather intense tantric cremation ground sadhana, using the corpse as your meditation cushion. And it's really associated with the transcending of our greatest fear, which is the fear of death. If we can get beyond the fear of death, all our other fears are nothing. The skull necklace that we frequently see on goddesses like Kali, they're usually 50 in number for each of the letters in the Sanskrit alphabet. So this is an association with the power of the word and of mantra. And then her bone and flesh ornaments are again mastery over the fear of death and the fear of change in general. And also anything associated with bones are associated with the removal of distractive attachments. For her red eyes, red is the color of divine feminine power or life force, also known as Shakti. And then her long tongue represents 2 different things. It can represent the yoni and also the fire, the flame of the cremation ground. So this really demonstrates the Divine Mother's power as the force that brings us into this world and calls us home when our time has come. And then her beautiful face is associated with the seductive power of the divine, especially the feminine divine. When she is in the room, you can't help but notice her. She's going to draw your full undivided attention. So Nila is, remember I said that in her yantra diagram that she's associated with 6 disciplines in Vedic or scriptural study. Well, there's a form of the goddess Sarasvati called Nila Sarasvati. This is Ma Sarasvati with this dark blue skin. So this would be a form of one of the 10 Mahavidyas, the goddess Matangi, who is Kali in the form of Ma Sarasvati. But it also shows a strong connection with the goddess Nila, with the process of creation, and also the arts and of learning itself, including scriptural study. So as part of our puja, we're going to be chanting her mantra. And her mantra is Hum, Hum, Krim, Krim, Hrim, Hrim, Hasa Balamari, Nila Pataki, Hum, Vat. So Hum represents the protective power